The diner buzzed with its usual morning energy, a symphony of clinking dishes, murmured conversations, and the occasional shout of an order from the kitchen. The comforting aroma of sizzling bacon and freshly brewed coffee filled the air. Emily, a young waitress with a practiced smile, moved through the crowd effortlessly, balancing trays and jotting down orders. Her cheerful demeanor and genuine care for her customers made her a favorite among regulars. As she delivered a plate of pancakes to a table, her eyes wandered to the window. Sitting on the curb outside was a man who looked as if the world had forgotten him. His clothes were worn and frayed, his face pale and unshaven, and his hunched shoulders seemed to carry the weight of the world. His gaze lingered on the plates of food being carried inside, his longing evident. Emily hesitated. Homelessness was not uncommon in the city, but something about this man tugged at her heart. She knew she couldn't just ignore him. After ensuring her tables were taken care of, she approached the counter, scooped scrambled eggs, bacon, and hash browns onto a plate, and added a slice of buttered toast. She poured a steaming cup of coffee into a sturdy mug and placed everything neatly on a tray before heading outside. "Excuse me, sir," Emily said softly. The man flinched slightly, startled by her presence. He looked up, his tired eyes narrowing in suspicion. "Can I help you?" he asked cautiously, his voice hoarse. "I thought you might be hungry," Emily replied, holding out the plate and coffee. "Here, please take this." The man's hands trembled as he reached for the food. I don't have any money," he murmured, his voice thick with embarrassment. "You don't need any," Emily said with a warm smile. "It's on the house." The man stared at her, disbelief flickering across his face. "Why would you do that?" he asked quietly. "Because you deserve kindness," Emily said simply. "Everyone does." Tears filled the man's eyes as he looked down at the plate in his hands. "Thank you," he whispered. "I don't even know how to thank you." "What's your name?" Emily asked, sitting down on the curb beside him. "Sam," he said after a pause. "I used to be someone you know. I served in the army, but now—" His voice trailed off, and Emily waited patiently, sensing he needed space to share. "I lost everything when I came back," Sam continued, his voice trembling. "I couldn't find work, and the nightmares wouldn't stop. My family tried to help, but I pushed them away. And now I'm here." Emily nodded, her heart aching for him. "I'm so sorry you've been through that, Sam, but you're still someone, and you're not alone." Unbeknownst to Emily, her actions hadn't gone unnoticed. Mr. Grayson, the diner's owner, had been watching from his office. To him, Emily's gesture was not an act of kindness, but an infraction. He prided himself on running a respectable business and believed helping people like Sam would drive away, paying customers. As soon as Emily returned to the diner, Mr. Grayson stormed out of his office. His face was flushed with anger, and his sharp voice cut through the diner's chatter. "Emily!" he barked. "What do you think you're doing?" Startled, Emily turned to face him. I was just helping someone who needed it," she said carefully. "Helping someone?" Mr. Grayson scoffed. "You gave away food without paying for it. Do you know how much that plate cost? This is a business, not a charity." Emily straightened her back, her cheeks burning with embarrassment. "It was just one plate, Mr. Grayson, and he was hungry. I couldn't just ignore him." "Well, you should have," Mr. Grayson snapped. "You've embarrassed this diner in front of our customers. You're fired." The room fell silent as every pair of eyes turned to Emily. Her chest tightened, but she refused to back down. "If showing kindness is something to be ashamed of, then maybe I don't want to work here," she said firmly. She removed her apron and set it on the counter before walking out the door with her head held high. Emily sat on a bench outside the diner, trying to process what had just happened. Anger, sadness, and doubt swirled inside her. She was so lost in thought that she didn't notice the sleek black car pulling up until the door opened and a man stepped out. Dressed in a tailored suit, the man approached her with an air of quiet authority. "Excuse me," he said warmly. "Are you Emily?" Emily looked up, startled. "Yes, that's me," she said hesitantly. I heard about what happened, the man said, sitting beside her. I'm Mayor Daniels, and I want you to know that your actions were nothing short of heroic. Emily's eyes widened. Heroic? But I lost my job. The mayor nodded. Sometimes doing the right thing comes at a cost, but people like you, who lead with their hearts, are exactly what this community needs. He handed her a card. There's a non-profit organization that works with Veetery.